Here we have a pre-owned 2012 GMC Terrain. This one comes in the SLE-2 trim level in steel gray metallic. And then we have black cloth interior. The powertrain consists of a 2.4 liter naturally aspirated 4-cylinder engine, made it to a 6-speed automatic transmission. And this one has almost 200,000 miles, like 199 and some change. But as we come around to the front end here, halogen headlamps and fog lights. We just have a fog light bulb out down there. And then this headlamp here is just getting a little bit of water in it. But we've got a few rock chips here. And I can really see it on this side, but for the most part, surprised how well it's held up with almost 200,000 miles. Then we have 18-inch wheels here. A little scuffed around the edges, but they can be fixed. Now to the door panel here, power door lock controls are here. The mirrors are off there, and it's right side, left side, and then you can adjust using this dial here. And then we have one touch down windows on all 4 doors, and then window lock there. Little pocket here. Nice storage pocket here for maps and such, a bottle holder. And then we do get the Pioneer sound system with the SLE-2. And that's the hood release. Foot pedal brake here. Just click it on and off. And then we do have a manual tilt telescope steering wheel. But there is our power driver seat with power lumbar support. Nice to have that. I'm gonna cut the AC down so it's not blowing in the microphone. But I have that seat up front adjusted for my driving position, being 6'3" with longer legs. So let's see how this leg room is. I actually like how they did this door panel on the back, having the bottle holder there. So hopping in here. Surprisingly great leg room. I'm pretty impressed. I've been in several of these, but still. And I have 2 inches of headroom. And then we have seat back pockets netted on both sides. And then a 12-volt here, so you could put your inverter there and run your laptop charger if you want to. View of the front. Middle seat does fold down for cup holders, or you can use it as an armrest. And then these dome lights seem to still be working. Grab handle here. You can hang a hanger on that hook if you need to. But let's make our way towards the back. Now right over here, looks like we ran into something backing out. But as we come around to the back end, as I look at this Terrain, the only big damage spot, again, for almost 200,000 miles, is just that area right there, still in impressive shape. We have the manual lift gate here, and pretty good storage back here. Nice big pocket there for stuff you don't want to roll around, but you want to keep in that back seat, or behind the back seat, excuse me. Then 12-volt here. And then that's where our spare tire and such is, jack. So pretty nice setup. And then for the fuel cap, this one takes E85 or gas. It's nice to have that flexibility. And then I'll show you how these seats fold. Pull this here. Seat folds flat. You can run longer objects from the back to the front. And then pretty easy to just snap it back into place. Requires minimal effort. And then in this front passenger seat, I believe that's a 4-way. And then again, love having the pocket here. I just did a 2012 Enclave, and I'm surprised that both of these vehicles have those for additional storage. And then glove compartment here. But I've always been impressed by the SLE-2 trim level, just because you get that Pioneer sound system. You can option it with a sunroof like this one, and you don't have to necessarily get a Denali or get the V6 and all that. But it's covered up. There's that 2.4 liter 4-cylinder. And then this hydraulic is still in good shape to keep the hood up. But let's go ahead and hop in the driver's seat next. So leather wrap steering wheel here. See a little bit of glitter and whatnot through here, but just a few scuffs. Just crazy that this is held up so nice. You could tell they were driving at the top here because that's where it's faded the most, but still very impressed by the condition here. Now to the radio here, this one did not have the Bluetooth audio in it, but you do get a CD player, AM, FM, XM, as well as an aux input. And I think your phone is still Bluetooth here. But there's a backup camera there, so nice to have that. And then tone settings there. Hit that configure button, you can go ahead and change your languages, time, date, display, vehicle settings. All that'll be in there. And I love having that big back button there because it makes it easier to actually go through stuff without having to look for it. But down here we can toggle our sources by hitting that button. We can go through favorites if we have that set up. And then we can turn the audio off with the touch of a button. And again, just pretty simple to use. And then here, just hit the clock and you can adjust that as well, or set it on a 24-hour if you want to. And then we actually have a real mute button right there. And then settings are right there. So it's nice that you can actually pretty much use everything you need to, whether it's on the screen or you have buttons for all the important stuff. And then love that we have the electronic child locks here, power door lock controls here, hazards. And then down here, fan speed for the AC, we can turn the whole system off, toggle the AC itself, temperature here, and then we even have an auto mode as well. And then 3-stage heated seats for the driver, front passenger. And if you're gonna go through your gauge cluster, all those controls will be right here. So you can toggle between the vehicle info and the trip fuel info. So vehicle info here, tire pressure sensors, change your units. So you can hit that and then go to metric system if you want. And then with the trip fuel info, you can see your speed, average speed. That's interesting. That's pretty high actually. And then fuel economy there, range, and all that. But disc drive right in here, 12 volt down there, eco mode toggle here, and it'll tell you eco mode on. When you cut it on, then you'll have a little illuminated light by the tachometer. And then to shift the six speed, pull the lever, reverse, neutral, drive, manual, and then you can manually shift right there. And at the bottom left hand of the gauge cluster, the digital part will show you what gear you're in. Traction control toggles here. Center console cubby space, removable tray. Then you have a USB-A and an aux input in there. And that's what those bottom two icons, that's what that'll run off of. And then sunshade here. Let's see how this sunroof is held up. So went back pretty seamlessly. There's look at the back seat from up here. And then back to the steering wheel. Blinkers are here. Headlamp controls, auto, fog light toggle, and then headlamps. You can toggle those on and off by pushing that or flash here. And then windshield wiper controls, one time, intermittent, low, high. And you can adjust your intermittent right here. Then you have your rear wiper. It's a switch. So intermittent, off, on. And then pull back for rear wiper fluid, push up for front wiper fluid. And then your cruise control, you can turn that on and off there, set that speed there, cancel. And then you have your voice recognition, Bluetooth. That's also a mute button. And then you can go through your track list there, or your radio presets there, and then you can toggle your sources there. And then you have volume right in there. So I actually like this, this Terrain makes a lot of sense just how it was set up. And then finally the keys in the ignition, and then we do have remote start here. But next, let's go ahead and take this 2012 GMC Terrain out on the road for a test drive. So starting the test drive in this Terrain here, that first shift from first to second gear had a little bit of hesitation as it was trying to shift, but other than that, it's driving pretty normally. like new. We'll give it a little throttle here. So it scared me there. I didn't think it was gonna shift. For a second I thought I had it in manual mode, but I guess it was just reacting to my throttle response, so that's pretty impressive. But let's test this out. Manual mode. So it seems to shift all right. I'm gonna put it in an eco mode and then turn the cruise on. See if I can see what kind of fuel economy we're getting. So instantaneous fuel economy is right there. Getting right at 24, 23 miles per gallon. On a slight incline here, so you'll get more, I guess, usage out of this because it's such a smaller engine as opposed to if I was cruising with a V8 here. But as we start to level out, we should get, right there we're getting 34 miles per gallon. So right at 30 it looks like, which isn't terrible, especially for a 2012, and power is pretty adequate, even with this being an older vehicle. There's a little rattle in the back. I don't know if that's the license plate holder or something else, but other than that, pretty good sound acoustics in here overall. Just a little bit of wind noise. But what's great about this 4-cylinder is you don't have to worry about a turbo maybe having to get replaced after a while. Everything's simple. You have the 6-speed automatic, just a 2.4 liter, again, naturally aspirated 4-cylinder. And the brake pedal still feels good, not hearing any screeching there. So far on this little test drive here, again, everything is surprisingly normal for a vehicle that has almost 200,000 miles. Just in terms of how it drives, the seats are in great shape, the radio and all that seems to be working in great shape. So I'm pretty impressed overall. And this is definitely the highest mile Terrain I've ever driven. But again, with just how simple the vehicle is made, it makes it that much easier to maintain, I think, as well. But it drove down the interstate nicely. It's driving on this back road nicely. It's not necessarily a back road, but you know. And just, I'm not hearing any weird noises or anything that's showing the age of this vehicle. It's driving like a new Terrain. And I just can't say enough about how impressive that is. But to get one of these, I'm not sure if this is an outlier, so I don't want to say, hey, 2012 Terrains are bulletproof or whatever. You see this one has 200,000 miles, driving perfectly fine. But definitely look for certain, I guess, weird items that might be going on with it, because this one here just can't seem to find anything that's out of the ordinary, which almost makes me kind of peculiar about it. But I mean, it's driving. I'd probably drive this to the other side of the country pretty confidently if I had to. And then knowing as well, if something were to go wrong, it shouldn't be that expensive, because even though these are somewhat newer vehicles compared to maybe like a 1999 Chevy Blazer, these are still pretty simple transmissions. You have the eco technology and things that were there for emissions, but other than that, I mean, it's a 2.4 liter 4-cylinder, 6-speed automatic. Nothing crazy there. But again, very impressed by how this one has held up over the years. And this will bring me to the end of my review of this 2012 GMC Terrain SLE-2.